There we go. Just got my notification. Okay. Just give it a minute to get out there so people see. Hello, welcome. Excuse me. As you're coming in, if you would be so awesome as to hit the thumbs up button for me, I would appreciate it. Just gonna give it just a minute to let some more people come in, see if anyone else is gonna come in, and then we'll start. I haven't been on in 3 days, so hi Nenny. I have to have my phone on, I figured out, so that I can see the alerts in my chat. Something I realized today when I was going through some of my analytics is that some of you sent me some of the little gifts. Hi Rachel, good to see you. Oh, well, we had Easter, and then I was not feeling well yesterday, so I took the day off, and then now today I'm here. I was running all day, but I took a shower, I got everybody in bed, and but what I was saying was that I realized when I was looking at my analytics that some people have sent me, hi Truth, hi Austin. Some people have sent me some gifts and some stickers, some super stickers, and I did not see all of them. So, and it won't tell me, I can't find where it'll tell me who sent them now. So I just want to say thank you for whoever sent those. I greatly appreciate it. And so thank you. I did not mean to be rude. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me. So I've got my phone going tonight, so hopefully if anything goes up, I'll be able to see. So all right, first. I have been gone since Saturday, I think. And a lot, some stuff has gone on. So I heard that we have got, let me add this over. We have got new ransom notes. Now, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know, Truth Word, I didn't get a chance to watch the Brian Etten. I know, oh my gosh, like every time I try to go live, something else would happen. And so I'm like, that's why I say I try to not promise anything because I just never know. Hi, Nadia. Good to see you. So I'm here, thank goodness. And tomorrow is, I won't be able to be on super late. Tomorrow is SAT testing for my oldest. So we've got to get up really early. He's got to be to school really early and all that fun stuff. So, I'm going to go, it's a long one. So I'm going to try and see what he says about the 2 notes. Because I do want to show before I get off tonight, a clip of Leticia Stauch, I think is how they pronounce it. I thought that's how I heard his dad pronounce it the other day. Just because she is getting ready to start her retrial too, and thought it'd be a good for some of us to kind of rewind and remember so that we see what's going to happen. But first, let me get this all. Just a second, I'm getting all my. Okay. So this is what I wanted to find. I wanted to see first.
she was actually on the air when they started the show this morning. Remember, she had been back to visit them once during the last 2 months while she was dealing with her mother's disappearance.
Hi, Canvas and Crime. Good to see you, babes. How's your hubby doing? Now, this is something, too, that's been an opinion. Some people have thought that she went back too soon. They're really surprised that she was going to be back on the air. How you doing, Mark? And so, I don't know. I mean, everybody's grief journey is different. And, oh, that's good to hear, Canvas and Crime. That's good to hear.
But this was the first time she went on the air, and everyone was watching to figure out what was her mood going to be? How could she handle this?
Would she talk about it?
This is how they started the day.
Pretty shot of the sun coming up. Good.
That's something I've wondered too. I didn't get to see the opening part of this, but part of me wonders too. Did she know? There's a lot of talk about these ransom notes, and the first two that they actually were considered real. Did she maybe already kind of come to terms with the fact that her mom wasn't coming back? Still, having hope, but maybe, it's a hard thing to do, but maybe that's why it was easier for her to come back to work.
Morning. Welcome to today on this Monday morning. We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Yes, it is good to have you back at home.
Well, here we go. Ready or not? Yeah. Let's do the news.
Yes, so good to have you back. All right, those folks out on the plaza to welcome back our dear friend.
Yay.
Some beautiful signs out there.
There's been signs for so long. They're going to be so excited to see
I'm
them.
excited to see them. Give them all a hug. I've been really feeling the love so much. Thank
welcome
you.
back.
Good to be back.
Great to have you.
Now I noticed, and I was watching another report. They noticed it too, that she was holding hands with that. There's a clip of her with that Jenna Bush Hager, looking out at all the people. She was holding hands with her. I'm a mush. I don't think I could have held it together.
You know what struck me about this?
Mm-hmm.
Her dress.
Yellow?
Which is the idea of coming
Spring
home.
and
No, coming home. Like yellow ribbons.
I thought of it more as sort of a new beginning of spring.
I'm thinking of it as yellow ribbons.
You went with Tony Orlando and Dawn when they tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree to invite back the soldiers. No, that's not
I don't want to trivialize it because that's actually become a thing too with missing people.
without question.
With wearing yellow. So that really struck
It's
me.
also a sunny color. I mean, she does seem as upbeat as you can be. She's delivering the news. It's obviously extraordinarily difficult.
Well, and it's also the color that the public kind of, because of the significance of yellow, the public chose that right off the bat as far as leaving yellow roses, yellow flowers, things like that. So I assumed that's what that had to do with.
She was out there for part of it with Jenna Bush Hager, and she was clutching her hand in the beginning, looking at all of this.
when they went outside.
The outpouring of love. She was holding her hand the whole time and looking at the signs. It's hard to feel anything but warmth over this.
Good she's back, though.
Yeah.
It's good she's back. And, it's awful what she's going through. This is a cold case.
Well, speaking of, we see all these people with cards and things like that, but I heard on someone's video that someone stole the card that Annie gave her mother and put out there at the memorial. Someone took it. I'm wondering though, I did notice when I was looking, it looks like they've cleaned all of that up. So I wonder if maybe the family I'm hoping someone in the family took it back so that people weren't, trying to get a piece of it for, they haven't. They didn't care. And I watched little clips of that interview with Hoda, and I don't know. It felt weird. The whole thing felt weird, but.
I will share a little bit of news with you. The person who has been incessantly contacting us,
Although stopped for a while.
Yeah. We got another letter today from this person, an email saying, I know where her body is and who the kidnapper is. Give me half a Bitcoin and I'll tell you. And this person has been really persistent, knowing that if it's a scam, it's a federal crime.
Right. But
it still doesn't make sense to me though, because if they just would call the FBI, they'd get, it was $100,000. Well, exactly. Memorabilia and stuff like that. That's what I wondered if somebody grabbed it just to be, I'm hoping. I hope that the family got it, but yeah.
They also made the point that they wanted to make it clear that they have nothing to do with it.
Right.
They've been out of the country, but who knows?
We forwarded
again, we forwarded it to the FBI,
Right.
as we have in the past.
And out of the country. Is that Mexico? But that's, I don't understand why. They'd said before that because they have a record from 10 years. Remember the first note that came through? Harvey said that the writer said that they had a record from like 10 years ago and they were worried about that. And I don't understand. A record for robbery. What would having a record have anything to do with claiming a reward for finding a missing woman? I mean, I don't get that.
Right.
For whatever reason, and this is the thing we haven't figured out, you have to assume that the law enforcement, they believe that this person is not legit. Otherwise,
I think so too, because when he said, that's what popped in my mind too, when he said out of the country, I thought, yeah, Mexico. Yeah, of course he is.
they would have advised Savannah to pay the money.
Can we just be really transparent?
Uh-huh.
I think you're right that the law enforcement doesn't. There's
I
something.
just can't figure out why.
Well, why not take a flyer? The price of Bitcoin is much lower now. These are like, you can just take a flyer and see what the person knows. The most you lose is 20 grand, 25 grand.
I'll tell you why. My spidey senses tell me that there's something about this guy, because one of the emails he sent said early on, time is of the essence to do this. And then the next day he said, time is no longer of the essence. If he was pulling.
And that's what I understand. Remember when the family came back and Savannah said, we understand. That's what I think is when they found out that she was no longer alive. Yeah, the sheriff wouldn't. And he's in some, I don't think he ever showed up to that hearing today. So, or the council meeting or whatever it was. So he's got like 10 days to answer questions or whatever. But now I don't understand, and this is something that they'll talk about. Hey, my man Jerry. By the way, my man Jerry had a family member get really sick on Easter, so give a little prayer for my man Jerry if you do. Send some good juju their way, because it's no fun to have someone sick, especially not on a holiday. Well, see, I just never watched the Today Show, so I had no idea who she was. I'm usually busy around that time of the morning and my TV isn't on. And so, but no, I just felt like from the clips, and like I said, it's only clips, but from the clips I saw, like, I don't know, I felt, I didn't feel like Hoda was maybe being super genuine, but I mean, that's just my opinion. But that's what I'm saying. I never could have done it. I'm a mush, so I never could have done it. And like to stand out there, but like I said, I did notice that she was holding hands with Jenna Bush, and so I thought that's probably. But when I was in the salon, if something was going wrong or whatever with me, my clients knew it. I mean, there was no
scam. Why would you say time is no longer of the essence?
Right. You want to keep the value high.
You want to keep the value high.
Yeah.
And the fact that he said this made me think this guy knows something.
Yeah. It's a way to look on this as well.
I'm not. Look,
Right.
I'm not FBI.
We're not privy to all the information they are, but
You're talking
just
about
from the outside looking in, it sure seems like this person knows something.
Hi, this is Hannah from Boston.
And I don't know. I mean, do we believe that these are real? Or do you think it's just somebody trying to take advantage of an opportunity, of a tragedy? Granted, we don't know everything that these notes say, but and I thought TMZ wasn't going to put out any more of the notes. What happened there? Well, that's what I'm just, yeah. This whole case has made me torn just between what I think, what I don't think, I mean, I just have no idea. Let me find. Well, that's it too. I just find it weird that TMZ is in on this too. Whoever is doing this definitely wants a certain audience to know about this, because TMZ is like, I always thought of them as just like pop culture news, like celebrities and, but nothing of real substance. I'm not going to TMZ to find out my world news or anything like that. And let's see. Okay, now this is the one where he claims this. Oh, see, now this just says 1, so maybe it was just a typo. I wonder, yeah. Because on the actual title, it just says note.
For the Nancy Guthrie mystery, it is now day 66 since Nancy Guthrie literally just vanished.
This is just, I'm just kind of zipped through this. I am going to speed him up.
Out of her home.
And I will be right back. I have to say goodnight to my son. Hi, Doug. How you doing? Good to see ya.
Outside Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to focus in this episode on what I have learned about the ransom notes, and not only the new ransom notes that I told you about yesterday that came to TMZ, and there are actually 2 of them. There's one that came in the morning yesterday, and there was another one that came in the afternoon, and they are apparently from the same person. But I'm also going to go back and talk to you about some of the previous ransom notes from early on, and why it seems Savannah Guthrie believes that 2 of those ransom notes from early on are in fact perhaps are real. But first, let me get to the latest on these TMZ ransom notes, and there are some new details that I learned today that I didn't know about yesterday when we first learned that these new ransom notes or alleged ransom notes came to TMZ. So TMZ says that they've gotten more than a half a.
Okay, sorry about that. He's 16 and he still wants to give me a kiss goodnight, so I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Dozen emails from this same person who sent these notes yesterday, emails in the past claiming to have information about Nancy Guthrie. The person claims to know who the kidnappers are. And something I want to point out is Harvey Levin, when he was talking about the notes, and he's obviously seen the notes for himself, he says that the person used kidnappers plural. So there's more than one kidnapper, according to whoever's writing these.
Well, and so half a dozen notes. Okay. I don't understand, or these are the emails. So I don't know. How in the world are they not tracking them? The FBI can literally, like I've said it before, the FBI, if they wanted to, they could know exactly what color underpants we all have on right now. The government has that technology. The FBI can trace emails, and I don't understand why. I can see why someone like me couldn't figure it out, but I don't know.
Notes. They claim to know where Nancy Guthrie is. And Harvey Levin said that they had not gotten a note in a month from this person, but then again got 2 notes yesterday, one in the morning and one that came yesterday in the afternoon. That would, of course, be Los Angeles time. TMZ is based in LA. The note said that Nancy Guthrie is in Sonora, Mexico, and that she is not alive. Sonora, Mexico, of course, is the area right on the other side of the border from where Tucson, Arizona is. Tucson, Arizona is very, very close to Mexico.
So would that be, does anyone know, is that near Nogales? Well, that's just it. This is scary that there's nothing. And I mean, is it because key evidence was lost maybe in that first week or so? Or I don't know. There can't be nothing,
Obviously. The note reportedly said, quote, "I saw her alive with them in the state of Sonora, Mexico." And again, it's interesting that it says with them, indicating that if this is true, the kidnappers would be plural, more than one kidnapper. This person says that they can lead authorities to the kidnapper. And according to Harvey Levin, the person who wrote this.
Something else. You guys can see my mouse. You can see it right here. I heard someone earlier talking about this being a GoPro. They thought that it might be a camera. I thought it might be the backpack sticking up. Possibly, Doug. Because what do you think? Have you noticed that, Doug? That's what I'm wondering. This was something. I mean, it could be a drone. It could be the person had said that they thought it was a camera, but I've never seen a camera. Ouch. Oh no, you're fine. oh, Doug. Oh, I see what you're talking about. In the back, yeah. So it'd be like back.
Email has said these same things before.
Back down in here. Ah. Well, then that makes sense then. I did not know that either.
That they can lead authorities to the kidnapper, and is basically repeating a lot of what he said early on when these other notes were sent to TMZ. So TMZ also confirmed that no money has been deposited into the Bitcoin account.
That's what I'm wondering too, because I don't remember seeing it on the motion, the video of the motion. Well, so then that could maybe make sense to that first note saying that he had seen them. He had seen her with them. And then perhaps found out that she was no longer with us. And that's why they said there's no lack of urgency anymore. I mean, that would make sense.
Remember that this person sending these notes is also including a Bitcoin account and demanding about the value of half of the Bitcoin, which is somewhere around like in the $30,000 range, a little more than that. But as of last night, there was no money that had been deposited into the Bitcoin account. Harvey Levin says that he has talked to the FBI, that they've been giving them all this information. And he says that his spidey senses are telling him something about this guy, that there's something significant that makes Harvey.
I think it's right on the border, because that's when they went to Rico Rio, while they were talking about that was so close right there. So is Rico Rio in Sonora also? Yeah, because it's right there, right. And I actually got an A in geography, you guys. I don't see you don't use it, you lose it.
Harvey Levin think that this could be legit, although he seems to insinuate that the FBI is not really taking any of this that seriously. According to Levin, the person who wrote these notes said the person who wrote these notes that came yesterday also wrote a note the Tuesday after Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped and said that he knew where Guthrie was and who the kidnappers are. So that was the Tuesday after Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped. Then wrote another note on the Wednesday after Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped. So this was months ago, saying that time is no longer of the essence. So Harvey Levin is trying to make the point that whoever did this seems to be claiming that when he wrote the first.
So is that where one of the crossings is? You know, that's what I wondered, if it was just if I don't know, I was laying there thinking about that the other night. And we've kind of, pushed the cartel theory, oh, they're not that important, they're not whatever. But if they thought that she was a really rich woman and they could get money, I mean, wasn't it shortly afterwards in Puerto Vallarta? They took over Puerto Vallarta. I mean, there's obviously unrest because that one leader was taken out. And okay. That's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, so it's right there. It's one of the crossings. So, well, then we heard that other detective talking about down the way. There's places where they aren't real strict about people crossing, etc. And
notes, Nancy Guthrie was alive, and then wrote a second note on Wednesday, and Nancy Guthrie was no longer alive. Levin says, if someone is carrying out a hoax, why take the immediacy away? And that is the reason that Levin is trying to say that these notes could perhaps be real. Because if you just made the whole thing up and you wanted more money, why wouldn't you still claim that Nancy Guthrie was alive and be trying to get more money? Whereas instead, this person reportedly seemed to be insinuating that Nancy Guthrie was alive initially, and then changed the message the next day saying that there was no longer an immediacy.
Well, did anyone hear something about the 4th, that she possibly passed away, like around the 4th? And when was the very first, the 4th or the 5th? When was it? I'm trying to think of when the very first note was sent, because it was sent like 3 days later. So like on the 3rd or the 4th. And then shortly after. Well, and see, Marilee, that's the thing too, is that it's out there now, right? Like whether he did or he didn't, like that's gonna be now, because he's out there and because things have slowed down. And it is. I mean, I don't think it's about that. I think he really is diabolical. Everything that I have heard that Angela has said that he has done, boom threats, some of the lawsuits, the last one where he actually got charges was that Gabriella Gifford case. And he tried suing her as the person that pew-pewed her. And that's always been a question. And he isn't that smart, but he is that sick, if that makes sense. That some of the stories that I have heard are just... Yeah, and that's it, to keep the story going. And he is known for doing that. I taught your parrot a new word. Pew, pew. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, my allergies are going crazy right now. And that's what he's known to do. He's admitted it on this, was it on the interview? What was that guy? It was in that paint shop. And he admitted he would make up real looking news channels, and I think it's a combination of both. I don't think he did it. There's some people that are saying that he did it. I don't think he did it or anything, but I think he is totally capable of starting letters like that when things slow down to get things going. And that's it. There's no reason for him to be there. There isn't. I mean, the cactus is safe, okay? There's guys out there that live out there that are sitting there in their lawn chairs, okay? Everything's good. And I heard that he was chasing Tommaso. Oh, and Nadia, I saw your comment earlier. All I know is hola, hotel, un momento, and la biblioteca. That's all I know. Oh, I forgot about that reality show. But I think it was said, what was it, up to like 12 or 13 different news accounts that looked like mainstream media to put false facts into cases and to watch them spread and become fact. Like this, and he was proud of it. This is what stinks when you have somebody like that is willing to go that far. Like, it really has made me question. I started looking back on a lot of the cases that he was in. Oh my gosh. There's so much stuff that makes sense now about some of the stupid, weird stuff that came out. And Oh my gosh. Oh, I do know some of those. I do know some bad words in Spanish because one of my good friends when I was in high school, his grandmother was right over from Mexico. She spoke no English. Okay, and we had gone to prom together because my boyfriend broke up with me 1 week before prom. And if you're a girl and you know, you've got all, you get your dress, you get your nails, everything. And I still watch Sesame Street, my man Jerry. And when we got our prom, my dress was white lace. I got it at this store. If you're Gen X, you probably know it. Jean Nicole at the mall. It was all white lace, had like a little fluffy like train in the back. And Anthony just wore a regular and really nice black pinstripe black suit. And when we got the pictures back, all I hear, I brought him over there for him to see and for his parents to see. And all I hear is this little tiny lady come flying out of the kitchen, just ripping us both a new one. And I heard words I had never heard before that I had to ask about later, but she thought we had gone and gotten married and didn't tell her because we looked like a wedding couple in our prom picture. So, that's the one, Marilee. Yes, that's the one. Dill pickle. Yes. That's the one that I watched. And I didn't even get through all of it. And I was like sick to my stomach. And, okay, are you going to scar me for life, Doug? Oh, traumatize me. But yeah, that's the interview. And it is like, and he's just like, no big deal. No big deal. Oh, God. I don't know. I'm a boy mom, though, so I'm pretty tough.
Levin says that the FBI is not convinced enough to tell anyone to pay the money, which would explain why the Bitcoin account is still empty. It's interesting when you think about it. I mean, it's not, in the world of Savannah Guthrie, it's not that much money, $30,000, a little more than that. So you wonder, in a sense, like, why not just pay the money to wait and see? But if you've got the FBI saying not to pay it, you have to sort of take that into account. And again, Harvey Levin is saying that the Bitcoin account is still empty, at least as of last night. So I want to point out.
Oh, thanks, my man, Jerry. I'm glad you're here. I'm really lucky. Like, I lay in bed and I go watch other people and I see some of the chats and stuff. And people are fighting or they're saying cruddy stuff to each other. Like, we have a really good group in here. I like you guys. Make my day.
These notes are different than the notes that came initially to the local TV stations in Tucson, and those also went to TMZ. The reason they are different is because this person is not claiming to be the kidnapper. This person is just claiming to have information about where Nancy is and who the kidnappers are. Those other notes appear to actually be from...
I totally do.
an alleged kidnapper, and those other notes seem to be the notes that Savannah Guthrie believes could be real. It's interesting, Harvey Levin is saying that the FBI told him that they believe that those notes are real, those two that I'm talking about, not the ones from this person, but the other two where they claim to actually be the kidnapper. And Harvey Levin is saying that the FBI believes those two are real, which would go along with what Savannah Guthrie said in that interview with Hoda. Remember, she said she tends to believe that two of the notes are real too. So that she's probably getting that information from the FBI.
So those are like the first two notes though, but not this third, right? Whoa, Doug. Yeah, send that to me. I still can't get replies out, but if I go in, I just have to remind myself. If I go in and manually refresh everything, then the email works. I don't know. I break everything.
That would make sense. And remember, at least with the local TV station, I found out that those two notes that Savannah tends to believe are real, and according to Harvey Levin, the FBI also believes are real, were not just emailed to the local TV station in Tucson. They were sent in through a form. Like, when you go to a website and you actually fill out a form.
That's right. I forgot about that. It was like one of those, but still. I mean, maybe it's different, but like on my website has a form. It has like a contact me form. And you fill out the form and you put your message, but it goes through an email and it shows me, doesn't it? it shows me the email because it's still, even though you're doing it through there, it emails from your email, whatever email you're signed into or whatever. So, no, I want to, yeah, we can't, I have links shut off on here. Send it to me. Yeah, just email it, because anything I put up, I try to proof watch first, just to make sure. So, but yeah, no, I definitely like to see it. Have you email it to me.
And then you click submit. That's the way that it was done, I am told, which could be part of the reason that the FBI has had a hard time tracing back who the...
As long as no ninjas are going to show up at my house after I watch it, okay? Change what on the top right?
These people are. At the same time, it is kind of shocking that it's been 66 days and that with all of the technology of the FBI, they don't have a way to figure out who sent those messages to the local TV station that they tend to believe are real, and who's sending these messages to TMZ, which it seems to be a different person. So I am surprised that the FBI still hasn't been able to figure that out with all the technology.
Yeah, he's like Black Hat. I mean, it's like, and he doesn't exactly. I mean, you know, his friends aren't exactly, you know, the kind of guys that like go to like, you know, Sunday school and hang out with your mom. Exactly. Okay, and don't use big words when you explain it. I'm having a rough week.
Technology they have, but apparently whoever did this had a really good way of staying secret. So Levin says that they were working with the FBI, that the FBI was working with their TMZ team trying to figure out who has sent these notes, and that they came up dry, that they still haven't been able to determine it. TMZ also said the ransom letters they received threatened to kill Nancy, which is something new. And I go back, those would have been the letters, those two letters that came early on that Savannah believes are real. It seems those are the ones he's talking about when he says that whoever wrote those letters threatened to kill Nancy. So I know it's kind of a lot to keep track of. There's a lot of different letters that have floated around, but it is interesting to think about these two letters. It wasn't just one, it was one yesterday morning and one in the afternoon yesterday that were sent to TMZ. And
okay, so 2 letters. Jeez. So 2 letters, one in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Is timing just a coincidence? They were sent the same day that Savannah Guthrie went back to the Today Show. I'm joined now by Brian Martin, who is a detective with the...
That is what gets me, is that they were sent on the same day that Savannah went back to work. So, again, is that a red flag right there? Is it coincidence? And again, I hope. Well, actually, no, I don't know. I don't know what I'm so mad about this JLR thing. His behavior and his past now is going to have a shadow on everything that he's involved in. And it just disgusts me, because honestly, most of us that do this because we actually care. And, you know, I think so. I think they knew like the week before that was the day that she was going back. And he does have, again, he's got some of those sources that are some of the reporters, you know, but she did say that she was coming back, and I don't know. I just don't know if you know, that's the thing that stinks, is that you don't know whether or not to trust this or not. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Like it was just I mean, look at, you know, going back to chats. Look at stuff that people just come into chats and say to someone for absolutely no reason other than just to start crap. You know, like, I just kind of wonder if this is like a troll, you know, and that first guy is gone. Maybe those first two were real and they're gone because she's gone. And why would you risk getting caught for a body? You're not going to. And I know that's harsh sounding, and I don't mean it harsh, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't know that we're really going to find out what happened unless it is something that somebody makes a mistake. Or I watched an interview the other day, and they talked about prison. And we talked about this last week. Some different cases that busted people, testimony to cellmates and things like that. That Linda Sturmer, she told her cellmate that she took her husband's life. And well, that's something that people are wondering, Suzanne. Hi, Emily, welcome. Welcome to my channel. Right. But like I said, theirs must be set up differently than mine, because like on my website I have one of those like contact me, but it still shows the email program that sent it. Does that make sense? So it still shows like I gotta wait for my other phone to get charged up. But like Matthew sent me a hello through the website the other day, and it came in and it had his email up there. Yeah, probably, and just how it's set up. So mine, it's see, I don't know how any of that works. I was almost in tears trying to set up my business account, so like, I don't know.
Fort Wayne Police Department, who also specializes in cold cases. Brian, it's nice to see you. Thank you for having this chat with me. It's also nice I know you're an active detective right now, which is awesome to talk to you. The first thing I want to ask you is there's been all these new developments with these ransom notes that came to TMZ. We've now learned 2 that came yesterday. So today's Tuesday. These came on Monday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And Harvey Levin, who runs TMZ, seems to think like there may be some legitimacy to these. And they come the same day that Savannah.
I think Harvey wants there to be legitimacy to these, because then Harvey gets the views, he gets the pat on the back that you've got, they're sending it to you, and that's scary. Well, that goes back to JLR. He was that's one of the things that he was in prison for, was like cyber stuff and like wire fraud. And
Guthrie went back to the Today Show. What do you think? What did your gut tell you?
So there's 2 schools of thought, obviously, on this.
He got kicked off Party Line in the 90s. How do you do that? I mean, like, oh, yeah. What did he say? There was like, I think he said like half a dozen. It just makes you wonder. And then when they announced that about going through that system to contact, they said that after like the first or second email. So if someone wanted to do that, they would know to do it that way. But how did TMZ get them though? I've heard of that. Because like sometimes I get, especially in the summertime, brace yourselves, y'all, because I get insomnia in the summertime. And so I go down some rabbit holes. I think I found that on one of my rabbit holes on another case. That sounds really familiar.
One is it's somebody just out there being just nasty and seeking attention and trying to cause the family heartache. And then obviously the other school of thought would be that you have a legitimate ransom note and you have somebody who is involved in the case, the perpetrator, or...
I'm leaning towards the first one. Oh, me too. I was a Law and Order. I was SVU. I was CSI. In fact, I still watch the CSIs on Hulu. They've got all the old ones with Gil Grissom and and sericidal.
Somehow working with the perpetrator and sending these notes. And I find it a little bit odd.
Oh God. You're scaring me, Doug.
That they waited so long to start sending ransom notes. But I can tell you from firsthand experience in a case that I've worked in the past, we had ransom notes. We had some ransom notes that, not necessarily ransom notes, but taunting letters. And we had the hard decision whether we were going to hold that information in or whether we were going to release those letters to the public and try to use the public to assist us with solving the case.
CSI Miami was one of my favorites too. I was sad when it ended. I was sad when all of them ended. And then CSI Vegas came back for like 1 or 2 more seasons, but it just never caught on. This is something I've wondered too, though, about these letters, is why haven't they, in other kidnapping cases, we've seen the letters so that if there's any information in them, people can identify those. And I've never watched Criminal Minds. Someone else told me that is really, really good. Well, see, that's what my thought. Why aren't they sending them to the family? If they're scared of the FBI and they're scared of all of this, I mean, you could, or send them to the Today Show, send them to NBC. I don't understand.
Our ultimate decision was that we did release them, but we sat on them for a while and we had them analyzed. We went through them. And then after everything came to light, we actually realized there were some notes that were left that we missed, just because of environmental reasons. Where the notes and letters were left, no one found them, or they were destroyed or thrown away. But this person, whoever sent the letters, obviously wants the letters. They want.
Exactly, because you're going to get a lot more attention with someone like TMZ that, again, is probably targeting a different audience than like the Today Show or, the Nightly Weather, things like that. Yeah.
Some attention. They want those letters to be found, or they wouldn't have sent them to a news outlet. That's somebody who wants to be heard. I would hope that if it is the person involved in Miss Guthrie's disappearance, that they want to be heard and are legitimately trying to negotiate some type of deal or whatever it is that they're looking to do.
I still wonder, say it's legit, if this is someone that was involved, and that's why I know I want to talk to we've been talking about setting up like a Discord so that we can share some of this stuff. So if I'm not able, so you guys don't have to like wait if something happens or somebody busts a door off of the house. Like I said, I'm a boy mom. Never know what's going to happen. But I am going to look into that. And yeah, like I said, the summertime, for whatever reason, I get insomnia during the summer. And so that was kind of how I got like my first like 300 subscribers. Was a lot of them I don't even think were from the United States. I think they were all from like across the pond, because I'd go live at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I get all these people in there. And then, so yes, I'll figure that out. And sweet canvas. Is it through Discord? So you guys are gonna have to teach me. I feel comfortable now knowing all you guys enough that, because I was always very afraid of Discord, because, there's been, stuff goes through those, but I crossed my fingers and toes. Like I said, I got a good group of people in here, and just as long as no matter what, nothing you really put in there is private. No matter how much we say it's private, it's not. Anybody can go in there, take a screenshot. So just as long as we keep it clean, lean, then yeah, we can. Like I said, I'll talk to you about that tomorrow, and we'll we can get whatever we need set up. And well, that's kind of what I want. See, that's why I'm thinking that this note is just kind of an opportunist, because whoever it is, their best bet is to just peace out of here They got away with it. Take care of whoever saw, whoever, whatever. And at this point, too, I would think that they would know who this person is if they saw him. And anyone that saw him. Why I don't see them walking her around. Yeah, I would love to read those and just see. And I know we aren't owed anything. I know it's, a lot of this stuff, they may never come out. But I really would like to be able to read them and just see from everything that we've kind of, looked at and compiled, like how they fit in. Because maybe if we knew some of that language in there, some of these other things would click and make sense. Because that's what I feel like. I feel like it's almost like somebody's reading a story and they keep hitting the mute button at the most important part. And then they click unmute again. And then as soon as you get to where you almost have it figured out, click. And, part of that, I think, too, there's stuff going on in the sheriff's office. I mean, what a mess. What an absolute mess. You've got upheaval in the sheriff's office, whether it be political or just a really bad work environment, or both. Who's trying to cover his behind, because you don't have to be, I've had people come in here going, you're not an expert. Duh. I never claimed to be, but I have common sense. And I just, oh my gosh. It doesn't make sense. You don't give back a crime scene that soon. You don't, did it start? I thought she just got her, or are you talking about the previous trial? Her first trial, Suzanne. I don't know. And that's just it. There's so many people on here that really have, like it saddened me that they wouldn't let the Cajun Navy come in, because the resources that they have, is just amazing. And there have been times when streamers and the public have solved these things. I said Gabby Petito was found by some van life streamers that were driving by. But that's the thing about Cajun Navy, though. I thought they're all like bonded, so there's no liability. I thought that was the whole, kind of like Equifax too. Equifax is another one that oh gosh, I can't remember his name. His daughter was her life was taken, and well, and that's it. I mean, if she was out there somewhere with the wildlife, they're not going to find her. It's pretty much, in my opinion, impossible at this point. And oh yeah. Yeah, exactly, Marilee. Exactly. I just don't, like I said, so I understand that Pima County assumes liable, but there are waivers and things like that you can sign. And I just look at so many other cases that have let search teams like that go out. And that poly class, we had someone he was actually he was a teenager, and he took off and he was lost, and we the whole state was looking for him, didn't know where he had gone. Well, come to find out, he had some mental illness issues and had stopped taking his medication. And it just so happened one day that these two YouTubers were doing a food review at some place down in like Miami, Florida. And they saw this guy kind of acting weird. He was trying to give a cup of soda to a little kid. And they stopped him and they were talking to him and they're like, don't give him soda. Don't. They thought he was trying to hurt the little kid. And he's like, oh, no. And he ended up walking off. Well, somehow someone saw his family, and it ended up being the kid that was missing from around here. And his family went and got him the help he needed. And, well, and that's it. And when they did, because I remember them helping search in the Sebastian Rogers case. And they took all liability. And, it was it was, one of those times where I thought, it's not all bad. You have to remember, it's not all bad all the time. There's some bad people on here, just like there are bad people everywhere. But I really, really do believe the majority of the people that cover true crime and all that stuff really do care about the people that are, it's real easy to see a couple people acting like doofuses and to get, jaded and think everybody's like that. But yeah, I just think there are some times.
And not maybe somebody who has ulterior motives for attention that has nothing to do with the case. And you get somebody like that and it's going to take this case down a completely wrong path, away from Miss Guthrie, away from trying to solve this case and finding her. If she's still alive, and I hate to say it like that, if she's still alive, but we're at 2 months and Miss Guthrie.
Day 66. And yeah, someone that needs attention, someone that likes all the rigmarole that's going on with this case, someone who's not happy that it's quieted down.
From my understanding, was not in the best of health. She needed medication. So you have to have some serious concerns for her well-being.
Yeah, and this person, according to TMZ, from the notes yesterday, has written I think they said half a dozen notes before throughout this whole 2 months, and is not claiming to be the kidnapper, but is claiming to know who that person is, or actually uses plural, who the people are, and where Nancy Guthrie is, and is asking for half a Bitcoin, which is somewhere around $34,000, $33,000.
Which I also don't understand either. It seems like an amount that maybe they'll get it, maybe not. It's just kind of like a testing the waters. I don't. Let's see. Oh, Marilee, that was absolutely me too. That was absolutely me too. And I came on the day after we found all this out. And I apologized because I had been sitting here. I'm not a cheerleader for anybody, but he was doing a good thing. He was out there, I thought, out there because he cared and because he really was an advocate and because he had turned over a new leaf. He's talked about it. I didn't watch him religiously before, but during this case, I thought, okay, somebody's out there that's not trying to do any harm, and that's just it. I thought he was too. And not only were we, and it's a lot of us, and I know we didn't know. You don't think that you should. I don't dig on people unless it's a case and I'm digging for information on a case that we're following. I'm looking for, court papers for court dates, things like that. I'm not I am not somebody that if I watch somebody on the internet, I go look up everything they are. Or if somebody makes me mad, I go look up where you live. I'm not that. I don't do that. And most of us don't do that. We don't deep dive someone that we watch. They come up on our algorithm because we're watching true crime. We're doing this, we're doing that. And we start to watch them and we like what we see. And nobody owes me anything. He doesn't owe me anything. But I did believe that he cared. And that's exactly it. I feel naive. And I also am mad at the fact that I feel like it was also very planned, in my opinion. And here we all are singing his praises, clapping that he's doing this. And the whole time there's a woman recovering from reconstructive surgery, watching us all clap for him, say, hey, good job, keep up the good work, keep out there, keep Nancy's face out there. And yeah. So it's almost like he was, and I've heard the videos. I've been on a couple with on Molly Golightly's panel and heard his one ex talk, and these are games. Nothing that he does, allegedly, is for the reason that it seems, ever. And it's always about a gain for him, allegedly, and only. And he does not care. And that's just what we have to believe in, is karma. Karma can be good and bad, both, right? You know, you do good things in your life. I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody screws up. Everybody has unless you're like 15 minutes old, you have a past. And there's things that you've done in your life where even now at, say, age 40, 50, whatever, you lay in bed at night and you think, why did I do that in 6th grade? You know, why did I do that when I was 22? And those are okay. But this is from start to present, just absolute, I don't even have a word for it. Well, and that's it. It was about money, and it was about look over here instead of looking over here. That's what I wonder. People have been talking about that. The wheelchair scam. Yes. The wheelchair scam. I watched that this morning. Like, I want to watch it again because I was in and out of the room when it was on. I want to make sure I have the deets right on that. But yeah, he faked being unable to walk and needing a wheelchair. Let me see. Okay. Molly, I love you. Don't strike me. Okay. Are you there? You're there.
That he did when we first moved in together, and I was so fucking embarrassed. This fool had the nerve to decide that what he was going to do was he was going to start suing people legitimately, and that's how he was going to make a living.
So, legitimately.
He went on a fucking Craigslist and he bought a fucking wheelchair, and he wanted me to push him around in it, and every place that didn't have a wheelchair ramp, he was going to sue them for it.
Really? I love it, Canvas and Crime. Yeah, she talked to the one ex the other night, and
I'm not fucking kidding you. And I was like, I'm not getting involved in any of that, and that is ridiculous and embarrassing. He bought a fucking wheelchair off of Craigslist. Yes, he did. And he was going to act like he was fucking disabled. This guy will scam anything that he can scam. I don't know why people don't see this. You guys ever know?
Like, like, okay, it gives you kind of like a giggle because you think, man, like it's so crazy, but like, what in the world?
Notice he has the handicap placard in his fucking car?
Yes.
Okay, because he has mental problems, he uses that. Because he is considered disabled, because he's mental and he gets a disability check. So because of that, he went and applied and they gave him a fucking handicap placard so he could fucking use that. He would use it all the time when we were together. And I was like, dude, did you ever do anything just like legitimately?
He's unscrupulous.
That is unscrupulous. I actually had a friend that was paralyzed, and like, people don't think it's a big deal, but we literally couldn't go places sometimes because he had a van and he needed one of those van parking spots. We'd go out to dinner and we'd have to leave certain restaurants because people were parked in those areas, or motorcycles would park in that little van area. And I don't think people were doing it to be jerks. They just weren't thinking. They were thinking about themselves, you know? Let me do this in case you guys aren't. And that is her. Oh yeah, it's so hard. And like I said, I don't think people do it to be jerks. Like, they just aren't thinking, or they'll think, I'll be right out, I'll be real quick or whatever. And it's never, whenever you think that, it's never real quick ever, you know? And so yeah, we'd had to leave restaurants, we'd have to leave shopping centers sometimes. Oh yeah, I've heard of people doing that too, Doug. Yeah. Exactly, Truth Warrior. And like, oh, just being able to, we all decided to go out to this tiki lounge one night, and it was for his birthday and he wanted to go. And so, but it was an old building and there were no ramps, no anything. And he had one of those big, heavy, it was like a car, his wheelchair. It literally could rise him up to like bar top height down. I mean, this thing was a Cadillac. But it took 6 guys to pick him up and carry him up the front steps just to get him in. And then all he could do basically was kind of sit in this one area because couldn't get around. Exactly, Emily. So that's just it. And oh my gosh, he's just sick. And like I said, I just really and truly, I'm a Virgo. I question everything anyway and everyone, okay? And I hold grudges, and I don't trust anybody. But this really, it makes me now wonder. He covered the Preciado, the Savannah Soto Matthew Guerra case that we were going over. He covered Carly Russell, which was the one who faked the kidnapping on the side of the expressway. He was involved in this Leticia Stauch. He was involved in Sebastian Rogers. He was involved in, was it Caleb Harris, or there's those 2 college boys that went missing right around the same time. Oh yeah. And thank goodness we had a bunch, we were all young back then, like in our 20s, and had a bunch of big, strong guys, because yep, he was on Micah Miller. I mean, well, see, that's just it. Some of these cases too, he just all of a sudden kind of fades out because it's not lucrative. And to me, if you're trustworthy and you're honest, and you decide and you build a good following of people, when you decide that there's a case that's important, then the people that watch you will watch and pay attention, and they'll make it important too. I mean, usually that's how it goes. You get like-minded people around with you, and like in here, we don't always agree, but we pretty much all have the kind of same thought pattern. We all have common sense in here. You know, I mean, I have my rough days, but most of the time I have common sense. And because that's it, truth. He doesn't do, that was something that Marissa was saying, is in all the cases that she was with him, he didn't do anything. He just kind of led people around and told them what to do. And then sat there. And allegedly, in my opinion, in her opinion, etc., etc. Well, and have any of you guys heard about that food drive the other day? Because I saw something that said they were giving out pizza for 1 hour. It was this big food drive for the homeless. But then I read something about that it wasn't held by them. It was held by some senator. And they just showed up to film it. Well, and that's exactly it. Because credit gets you views and gets you, you know. Yeah, it was, and that white boy radio lockdown, I think is his name. I caught a few minutes of one of his videos today, and he said that he called this, he's running for some office. He called this politician to tell him, this is who you're hanging out with, dude. And he said he would not say what was discussed or who this man was. I believe it was the man that was shown in the videos of the food drive. And he spoke. I heard him speak. There was this clip of somebody clipped him speaking. Yeah, I don't know him now. Molly knows him. They did like some cases together, like Summer Wells and Quentin Simon. I think he was at Quentin Simon too. But usually oh, Crystal. Yeah, Crystal. No, just, why is everybody being so mean to me? Well, Crystal, you went out on a national platform and announced that you told everybody about someone's flight so you could start a fight. Okay, so did you canvas? See, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. And like all of a sudden, all these people are popping up in my algorithm since this started. And I think when he started popping up in my algorithm, it was because not another ransom, but there is a note that email that TMZ got, well, two, that they're asking for half a Bitcoin. It's the people, supposedly, it's the people that claim to know where Nancy is and who took her life. And that they will tell where to find her body, if, I don't know who, but the family, TMZ, somebody's supposed to give them like $25,000 or $30,000 in Bitcoin. And it's rumored that the first note gave the first date saying, give us this money or she's gone. The second date, remember, all of a sudden it went up to, by Friday at 5, it went up to $6 million, and then we didn't hear anything. And the next week, the family came out and said, we understand. It's rumored that it said that they did not know how severe her health was and that she passed away on the 4th. Because I think it was the 5th or the 6th, it was the date. The $6 million date. Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Monica. Well, and so yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of these people, because I really do think, people think that because Molly and I are friends, that like she just gave me like the lowdown on everybody until I really don't know anybody until I watch them. And they pop up on my thing. We talk about the dumbest stuff. It has nothing to do with YouTube, you know. We might laugh about something that happened later on, or, you know, if we're gonna go on, discuss what, you know, hey, did you hear this today? Let's talk, you know, you got time to go live, let's go live and talk about this, whatever, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm just new to a lot of these people that are just, like I said, all of a sudden popping up on my timeline. I think because I've been covering Nancy and talking about her, and but yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, I have severe ADHD, so I'll tell you the truth. I don't usually watch full videos. I kind of bleep, 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 bleep through them, and I find, you know, and I fast forward through stuff. I high speed through stuff, and then if I hear something I know is important, I go back through it, find it, because for me to sit down and completely watch a 45-minute video or an hour video is like absolute torture. Well, and that's just it. Like, you just wonder what they knew and what was in those notes. But excuse me, I am so sorry. Take a drink. Our weather keeps going up and down, up and down. The river is finally starting to recede a little bit. Any of you guys that saw me, oh, that's cool, Monica. Thank you for coming over. But and I know that she and Matt are putting whatever aside right now just to, you know. And I'll tell you, you know, I'm not talking a lot about him just because this is really sick. And I just, I don't know. That's what happens to me. It's like I'll hear something with like from one of my kids, or that's why a lot of times I go at night, because I know everybody's asleep. Once everybody's asleep, then I know I can sit, I can do my thing, but I still squirrel. I mean, you see me. If I see something in chat, I'll be like, ooh, you know. I do not know how some of these like creators can just like completely like just go talking and not. If that chat's up in my face, I'm reading it, and I'm, you know. Yeah, I was trying to watch him the other day, and he was having, I think it was when he was live. I was out running errands, and so I just clicked him on because I have never seen him live. Does he not go live very often? I've seen like little videos and stuff, but I didn't know if it was, at first I didn't know it was him or me. I was trying to listen to some of the stuff he was saying, but I ended up clicking off and scrolled to something else. I think it was when there was a pause, so I didn't get to hear everything that he said. Okay. Oh, me too. I'm always, like I said, I have a circus full of squirrels, and they're running everywhere. And oh man, see, I did it. See, I started getting all grumpy about JLR. Yeah, exactly. That would be hard. And like some nights, like you're just tired, and you know, you just don't feel like it. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I get it. There's some nights where I'm like, oh my gosh, I sit down for 2 seconds and I'm out. Or, you know, if your schedule is not, you know, 9 to 5. Oh yeah, I'll come in there and say hello to you. For sure. And that's just it, you know. That's something else. Speaking of that, let me find this. Because this is something that Hold up. I just gotta find something real quick. Here. This was something. It says, you look at when JLR started tweeting about me, it did not begin before his charges. It started only after I became both witness and a victim in his misdemeanor case. What followed escalated into threats to show up at our home, which violates Florida laws that he inspired. That was the brand laundry case, he and Betty and all the gang. Videos of Eva's children in a enclosed private area. That must be that video that was shown. There we go. Through the fence. It was shown through like a crack in the fence. And his associates cosplaying as police while insinuating they wanted to arrest and tase me. While the original charge was a misdemeanor under Arizona law, the conduct that followed has now led to a new investigation. On top of that, a judge today assigned an injunction against harassment, barring him from any contact whatsoever from approaching me, from coming anywhere near our home, from using social media to harass or threaten. And this is the protection order. So we've got that, and well, and that's just it. That happened with little Michael Vaughn. They started digging across the street from his house. His mom was at work, and someone found out they were searching for remains, and instantly, I believe it was Betty and Justin, came on live and went live and were talking about it, and that's how his mother found out they were looking for remains. Like, that's just so heartbreaking to me. And people don't think about what they could be doing. Being first is not always, it's not always winning a prize, you know, and that's it. They want to be the first to break the news, and I think his siblings found out too on social media, and that just breaks my heart. Like, I'm not always going to be the one telling you guys everything 30 seconds after it happens, but I don't have a problem talking about things and discussing things in here, but I'm not willing to do that to somebody if I can at all help it, you know. Did she? Okay. They didn't watch her back then. Wow, Marilee. Wow. Okay. So for my grand finale tonight, because one of the cases that I do want to follow is this retrial of Leticia Stauch. And I don't think someone in here earlier said they were watching the trial. But I don't think I don't think her retrial's happened just yet. I could be wrong, so I'm going to check on that and see if we've got a date on that yet. But I wanted to start with this. I'm going to start us kind of going over this and following this, because I followed this the first time. This is another case that there was a lot of drama that went around it after it. This woman is sick, obviously, but isn't an excuse to do what she did. And unfortunately, because of an error, I feel like on prosecution's part, she now gets a new trial. Oh, I don't know. Who's that? I don't know. I don't know. I have a recliner. Maybe I'll start doing that. It's right up in my face. But there was a lot of time that back when this case happened, afterwards, there was the unredacted autopsy photos ended up getting set out. There was a creator that put them behind a paywall, which she said she did it to protect the dignity of this little boy, but it just, I'm a mother and it hit me the wrong way, and I can't imagine thinking about strangers looking at my child's autopsy photos and showing them on a screen. And okay. I was gonna say I didn't think that it had started yet, but in lieu of that, if it's coming up, if it does end up going through, then we can remember this lady, whether or not she's ill or not, which I believe she is. If she was willing to do this, then she's not safe to be out on the streets ever. I don't feel like, and I wouldn't want her around my family. I don't know who that is. See, you guys, I really have stayed out of the loop. You know, this is Leticia being sentenced, and this judge. Now, again, the whole reason why this is getting appealed while she was granted a new trial is because early on, one of the jurors that was found during questioning was related to someone, and I think it was his nephew, worked in the DA's office. The defense brought it up, made a motion against it to have this person removed. The prosecutor said they didn't think that it was that big of a deal. The judge ended up saying he was going to revisit it later on, and then I don't know if they ever did, but they ended up going through with the trial, saying this person, they didn't believe that this person would cause any issues or anything like that. Well, with what I heard about this woman, with what I saw the first time, I believe the jury got it absolutely 100% correct. She deserves life in prison with no possibility of parole. But, you know, we've watched other cases where we've seen, and sometimes we get annoyed with the judges because they are so meticulous about things. But this is why. Because now this family has to, if this trial goes through, this family has to relive this again. Because something that maybe didn't seem, you know, you got to play chess, not checkers, and you have to think that this might be an issue down the road. And if this judge believes wholeheartedly this woman is guilty, like he says, like when you hear this passionate sentencing, I mean, this is deep. Why wouldn't he simply take care of something like that at the beginning? Oh no, it's just horrible. I listened to the mom and dad's statements the other day, and it was just heartbreaking. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I think I'm lucky because I didn't get involved with a lot of people that everybody's like, oh my gosh, this person's crazy. You know, this person's like wild or whatever. And I've been kind of protected in my own little turtle shell, my own little lane, my own little people. And I think I have a big mix of people from like every kind of community. We just kind of come in here and you know, have fun. That's what I like about it.
A parent's worst nightmare.
So this is the being sentenced to life in prison. And I've got, like I said, I've got other stuff that I've got the interrogation tapes. I've got at least part of it. I've got some court clips, things like that we're gonna watch in the next, you know, rest of the weekend. Just because I had forgotten how just wild this woman was.
Is getting a phone.
Me too, Truth Warrior. Seriously. No, and seriously, yeah, I am glad. I'm glad all you guys, I really enjoy coming on here and talking with you guys.
Call letting them know that something has happened to their child.
Oh, and also before I forget, to also remember his father was away in Oklahoma, I believe it was, doing scheduled National Guard training. So here this man is going away to train to protect our country. And he's entrusting that his young son is safe and sound at home with his stepmother. Something a lot of us do. Not the training part, but the grounds are that there was one of the jurors' nephews worked in the DA's office. And they believe it's a conflict of it. It could be a conflict of interest. It was brought up at the beginning of the trial, but then they never really did anything about it. Defense brought up a motion to have this person removed. Prosecution said they didn't believe that it would be an issue. The judge was supposed to revisit it later, and I honestly don't remember him revisiting it at all. Well, and that's why I'm doing this too, because some people didn't follow it. Same with, like, you know, the Preciado case. A lot of people didn't follow it, but they remember it being in the news. And a lot of these, like Plunder followed it. Ickadmel followed them, and they'll probably follow if it does go to retrial, they'll do the big stuff, you know. But I thought here we can kind of do a rewind, and no problem. So here we go.
How much worse must that nightmare be when law enforcement asks not for a picture of your loved one, but rather DNA and dental records? I've also heard it said that one of the worst tragedies a parent can experience is to outlive a child.
And that's the thing too. Remember, he's like 11. So this isn't just finding out that a relative is gone. This is your child. Exactly, Marilee.
I have known people, both professionally and personally, who have gone through that. It never leaves them. But the sharpness of the pain does diminish to some extent over time. I cannot fathom the pain Mr. Stauch and Ms. Bullard have experienced.
Stauch, okay. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing their name right. And he was adorable. He was adorable. It's just so sad.
As a result of the defendant's actions. A sentence in a criminal case such as this will not change the fact that their son's life was taken from them, and no sentence I impose and nothing I say will ever change that fact. Ms. Stauch, you betrayed the person you loved enough to marry. You told your husband lies and took away someone he loved. You took away every day that Mr. Stauch or Ms. Bullard could have had with their son. When you take a life, regardless of how you do that, you forever alter the future. Neither Mr. Stauch nor Ms. Bullard will ever see their son graduate from high school, go through the joy and the pain of that first love, or get married. They will never know what kind of impact their son may have had on the world if only he had lived to become an adult. And had Gannon's body not been found, they never would have known what happened to Gannon. They would always have had a lingering doubt about what happened to Gannon.
She dropped him off under a bridge in a suitcase, I believe, in Florida.
And I cannot imagine the pain and sense of loss associated with that. You betrayed your daughter, Harley Hunt. I cannot imagine the emotional impact that you have had on her due to your selfish and calculated actions.
I didn't think about that either. Her daughter had to testify, didn't she? That her daughter had to testify. So I wonder if she's going to have to testify again. So she doesn't at all. She's crying. If any tears, it's all for herself.
This is a young woman that trusted you to put her interests above yours. This is a young woman who believed in you and believed you were innocent of this crime right up until the time that you pled not guilty by reason of insanity. And she still loves you. That's natural for a child, and it doesn't matter how much older they get. You were supposed to protect.
Yes, Marilee, it was horrible. It was horrible. Just that poor little boy. And just think about what this couldn't have been the first time, it was just.
Protect her. I cannot imagine the guilt she feels or the therapy that she will need to address your betrayal. There is no evidence that she had anything to do with the murder or your cover-up of it, but some people still think that she is somehow involved. She wasn't. The incredible strength of will and courage that it took for her to come in and testify is amazing to me. But she did it because, as she said, it was the right thing to do. And while thankfully she didn't testify, let's not forget about Lena. You betrayed her too. You took her brother from her and forever altered her family dynamics. She will always.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I had forgotten, though, that she had tried to kind of put it on her. This woman is diabolical.
Always wonder who she can trust and will always feel that loss. She was there the day you killed Gannon. His body was still in the house when she got back from school. At some point, you even claimed this 8-year-old girl helped you move her brother's body from the basement to the back of your car. That's just simply not true. As she gets older, Lena is going to want to know more, and she's going to want to know if there was something that she could have done to prevent this. I hope she comes to realize that she has no fault in all of this. You betrayed your stepson, and you took his life. You took away everything he was and everything he could ever become. I can't imagine the terror and confusion that he must have felt in the last moments of his life when he knew his life was being taken by someone he trusted to protect it. Your attempt to raise the claim that you did this because of your adverse childhood is also a betrayal of people that have mental health issues. It is no secret that there is a large part of our population that has mental health issues. It's also no secret that our country and our health system could do a much better job addressing mental health issues than it does. However, the number of people with mental health issues who become violent is small, and the number who become murderers is smaller still. Your claim that a mental health issue caused the murder in this case is a disservice to all those who struggle with mental health issues every day. This isn't the first case I have presided over in which sanity or a mental condition of the defendant has been raised as a defense. I have had cases where the defendant's mental condition caused the defendant to act out in a certain fashion. But even in those cases, I have never seen conduct like this. I understand the claim of dissociative identity disorder. I have seen something resembling that, and I have seen defendants with schizophrenic disorders. I can understand those. What I have seen is that the mental condition causes the person to act a certain way, and when they realize what they did, they are astonished by what happened, or they have no memory of what happened.
Yes, she claims to have like multiple personality disorder. So there's that, which I believe it was found. I don't believe that she was found to actually have that.
Your claim is that it was another personality that murdered Gannon, but there is no time during the minutes, hours, and days following the murder where Leticia came out and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body around in my luggage? That just isn't credible. You knew what you were doing. You made a number of clear and conscious decisions to cover or disguise what you had done. Claiming a lack of motive is a common defense tactic, and it can be a sound strategy. The truth is, however, that it only takes a moment to make a bad decision that results in disastrous consequences. And oftentimes, we never know why a defendant chose a particular course of action. However, that does not mean that they did not intend to undertake a course of action. Sometimes, as in this case, the likely explanation is anger. An 11-year-old boy with burns who feels that he's not being taken care of. An 11-year-old boy on the verge of being a teenager. Those of us who have lived through people or kids with that were teenagers, we know how that is. It is not hard to imagine.
Amen. You know, I mean, but the things that she did to him were inexcusable.
And saying something, you're not my mom. I want my mom. I want my dad. And that would be enough to make you really angry. But anger is not an excuse. A defendant is responsible for the choices they made and the actions they undertook, even though those choices arose out of or were motivated by anger. It's clear that you hated and were jealous of Landon Bullard. You saw yourself as a better mother than she was. It's clear from the evidence that you had some resentment from being left with Mr. Stauch's children. It's clear you had some resentment toward Mr. Stauch because he traveled as part of his job. Some of that manifested as early as Al's assignment in Alaska when you made allegations against the people in his unit. That caused Al to have to return from Alaska. And in one of the phone calls that were played for the jury, you talked about having to take care of his kids while he was away and what a good mother you were. It's clear you felt trapped. You wanted out. You were searching for a new job and a new location in Florida. Mr. Stauch had been gone on his new assignment for less than 2 days when the fire in the basement occurred. I can imagine that you saw your whole future consisting of taking care of Mr. Stauch's children while he was off doing his thing, and that's not the future that you wanted. I can imagine Gannon, at some point after he sustained his burns, telling you wanted his real mom and how that comment would have made you angry. You took your frustration and anger for the marriage, the child care, the absence of Al, and even living in Colorado. You took all of that out on Gannon. The evidence suggests you first stabbed Gannon repeatedly, 18 times. Based on the number of defensive wounds, he was clearly conscious for some of that. He was certainly gravely wounded.
And anytime someone takes someone's life like that, that's fury, it's anger, it's close, it's in your face, it's brutal.
And chillingly, it would also explain how you were able to mimic the sound of Gannon breathing in one of your sessions with Dr. Lewis. Those were probably close to his last breaths. He was dying but not dead. The evidence could also lead one to conclude that he either fell or rolled off the bed where you shot him in the head and then beat him with the butt of a gun or a baseball bat.
I can't remember. It has been so long. This is another one that I had like completely forgotten about. You know, she reminds me of that Taylor Ship business.
That would explain the blood found at different levels on the walls in Gannon's bedroom. I'm also reminded of the look you had on your face when you slipped your handcuffs while being transported back to Colorado and attacked Deputy James. I shudder to think that that was probably the last thing that Gannon saw before he died.
Yes, she was a school teacher. Former teacher, yeah. I Googled. It does say, though, it sounds like she had a teaching license. She was a substitute. Oh, and then hired at French Elementary.
You have shown no remorse throughout this process. Instead, you've made a choice to build a web of lies. When you gave an interview to Detective Jessica Bethel on January 29 of 2020, you lied to her about Gannon running away and that he was actually taken by a guy named Eduardo. When you explained that to Detective Bethel, you said you needed to lie because you didn't want to face the consequences. You told her.
This is that Leticia Stauch that took the life of her 11-year-old stepson, and she just won a retrial. So we're just catching up on this. So it's, I think, 2023, I think.
That you were trying to come up with a plan about what you should do. And finally, you told her you really thought you could fix this. I think that's true. You lied because you didn't want to face the consequences. You needed to come up with a plan to fix this, and that plan involved covering up what you had done. It involved lie upon.
This is her sentencing, the judge's statement before he sentences her. So I'm going to try and do some. So we're juggling it all, but I'm going to try and keep doing some recaps as we get closer to finding out if this is, because her conviction was reversed. So she finds out that she does get a retrial, then we're going to be here for it. But I thought some people don't even know about this case, so you can watch and do some recaps of it throughout the weeks. Yes, yep, Colorado.
On lie. But you slipped up at various points and let kernels of truth escape. In one conversation with Mr. Stauch, you told him the FBI needed to close the borders of Colorado, needed to close I-95. I-95 doesn't go through Colorado. It's an interstate that runs along the entire eastern seaboard. It's also not far from where you dumped Gannon's body. When questioned by Detective Bethel, you told her that Mr. Stauch might also make up some kind of story about you coming at him with a knife. He said you would never use a knife like that. Yet Gannon was stabbed 18 times. Your actions in this case also show a very conscious attempt to avoid responsibility in this case. You started out with the story that Gannon had run away. You gave some hints that it might be related to bath salts or drug use by Gannon. You stayed with that story until you were called into EPSO for an
11
interview. You knew they weren't going to buy the story that Gannon ran away. Then you came up with the abduction. And you stayed with some iteration of that for a long time. But all of those versions had one thing in common. You were always the victim. In one, you're beaten and raped and Gannon was abducted. In one, someone stole Gannon out of a truck in the parking lot. In another, you let someone drive Gannon to a hospital to take care of a head injury that he had after falling off a bike. In all of them, you could claim it wasn't your fault. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then you got arrested. You stuck.
Didn't she say at one time too that he had gone down to a friend's house and was supposed to come home and had never come home or something like that? I thought that was one of the stories too.
To the story that it was someone else that took Gannon. During the hours that you spoke with Special Agent Grusing, he told you he thought sometimes good people do bad things and sometimes it's an accident. Then they found Gannon's body. Then you saw the mountain of evidence against you. And this is a mountain the size of Everest. What was your position after that? Well, it was an accident.
And I know I've got this sped up a little bit, but it looks like the defense attorney is literally nodding in agreement with the judge.
And you, Leticia, didn't even do it. It was Maria Sanchez. You carefully crafted your new story to continue to avoid responsibility. It also allowed you to take advantage of the out that Mr. Grusing and Mr. Stauch suggested much, much earlier when they asked you if this was an accident. Now it was an accident. Your Maria Sanchez personality shot Gannon by mistake because she thought he was an intruder in a cape. Multiple personalities is not credible in this setting, as regardless of how many personalities you have, you only have one body.
Yeah, and I believe I'm gonna try and I'm still looking for clips and articles and stuff like that on this, but I believe that she did go in. That was one of her claims that they found that she did not have that dissociative personality disorder.
I have presided over cases where a mental disease or defect prevented a defendant from remembering the course of events, including the commission of the crime. Without exception, those defendants have been terrified when contacted by law enforcement because there was a period of time in their lives that they could not account for. Their body may have sustained an injury, and they don't know how it happened. They may have some new object in their house or on their person, and they have no idea where they got it from. We all have free will.
I had too. I had forgotten about, there's so much that I forgot about this. And we're going to have a busy summer, y'all, between this and Ramon Preciado goes to court for his charges in May. So we see how that works. And all these old cases are popping back up again. I completely forgot about that. That's another reason, I want to go over this stuff is because there's so much that I forgot.
And we all make choices based on that free will. The people who suffer from the mental disorder you claim are terrified because their free will has been taken from them, and they are being subjected to things and experiences they don't understand and don't have any recollection of.
And can you imagine that, waking up? Like we've seen movies like that where people wake up and they don't realize that they've done something. There was a million years ago when I was younger, it was like one of those made-for-TV movies based on a true story. But it was about a guy that woke up in the morning to the police at his door. He goes to answer the door, and they're there telling him his in-laws had been their lives have been taken in the middle of the night. And it's Billy Milligan. Isn't there a documentary on Netflix about him? I think that's on my list. But he didn't realize, I can't remember this guy's name. This was like an old movie. I'm almost 50, so I'm 48 years old, so that tells you anything. This is an old movie. It was like a made-for-TV movie. But he woke up, and the police were there, and then come to find out through reports and different things, they found out that it was him that did it, and he has no recollection of doing it at all. Of going over to their house. He took both their lives. He cleaned up. He left. He came home. He cleaned himself up. Got rid of the shirt, the clothes, all that stuff. And I think Nancy McKeon was in it. Okay, that's how old it is.
You didn't behave anything like that.
Or Valerie Bertinelli, one of the two.
One of the purposes is to impose an appropriate sentence for the criminal conduct that occurred.
Oh, but this is Leticia Stauch. Yeah, or Stauch. Well, I will get it right, I promise. This is the gal that took the life of her 11-year-old stepson. And yes, I saw that one. Yep. I haven't seen it. It's on my list to watch. But yeah, she took him and put him in a suitcase and put him in Florida while his dad was off training with the National Guard. She was in charge of him.
Another purpose is to punish an offender by imposing a sentence that takes into account the seriousness of the offense. Yet another purpose of sentencing is to prevent crime and promote respect for the law by providing an effective deterrent to others likely to commit a similar offense. Anyone who's been in my courtroom before knows that I've said sentencings are the most difficult thing that I do. That's especially true in cases where someone has lost his or her life. Nothing I or the law can do will ever bring that person back. I have handled hundreds, if not thousands, of criminal cases over the years. I think at this point in my career, I presided over something like 200 jury trials. I've sentenced hundreds more defendants pursuant to plea agreements. This is not the first murder case that has come before me. This is not the first case I presided over which involves harm to a child. This is not the first case I have had where a person who was in an unhappy marriage committed a crime. Sadly, statistically, there is a high correlation between violent acts, including murders, and family members. I have had a number of cases which have demonstrated one person's capacity for cruelty toward another human being. I can, however, say without hesitation that the facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen. Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law. As such, with respect to the charge of first-degree murder after deliberation, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. With respect to the charge of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. Those two sentences will merge. If you have questions about that, you can ask your attorneys. With respect to the charge of tampering with a deceased human body, I'm also going to sentence you to 12 years, followed by a 3-year period of parole. That sentence is to be consecutive to the life sentences that I've already imposed. With respect to tampering with physical evidence, I'm going to impose an 18-month sentence. That sentence is also consecutive to the sentences for the murder charges that I have imposed. I also understand, with the consent of the prosecution, and I'm assuming no objection from the defense, that I will dismiss all the charges in 20 CR 3170, close that out subject to restitution, give the people 49 days for restitution, 14 days for response, and if there's an issue, we will set it within the 90 days, from. I think that resolves all outstanding matters.
So, there we have it. That was what we thought was the end of Miss Leticia, but it is not. So, I did read earlier, someone said the prosecutor is trying to stop this. I hope for the family that he's successful. It seems absolutely heartless that this poor family would have to go through this again because of an error in the jury. You know, I mean, that's just, it's ridiculous. It's something that should have been taken care of at the beginning of this trial. All the T's crossed, all the I's dotted. You can't, because no matter what, whether she's deemed insane or not this time, this woman does not belong out among the public. She did something violent and sick, and if she wants to blame her mental disease, fine. But oh my gosh, yeah, I've got those. I made a big list of stuff that we're going to go over, and that's going to be on a, we're not going to do that on a heavy day, because those are, oh gosh, the dad really, well, both of them got me. And I think about that mother. I co-parent with Mac's husband, and I send my son over there twice a week, and I know he's safe, and I know he's okay, and I know that there's nobody there that's going to harm one hair on his head. But luckily, there haven't been any crazy women in my ex's life. None that were dangerous. You know, I mean, there's been some crazy ones, but I was the first one. But but that you send your kids somewhere and you're hoping that whoever your partner is with is loving your kids at least close to what you do and taking care of them and doing for them what you're not able to at the moment. It's just heartbreaking. Now, after watching that, to lighten it up a little bit before I go, I do want to tell you guys something that I wasn't feeling well the other day. And so, driver had some extra time off this weekend. And so we binge watched this mini series on Netflix. And it's called Archive 81. Okay? It is so weird. And you just got to get through the first episode. But it's like, it is really good. And we ended up just binge watching the whole thing in like 2 days. And it's 8 episodes. So I highly recommend that. Nadia told me that I need to start watching American Horror Story. So I think that's going to be, I get to binge watch a lot more stuff like during the summer, like when I can stay up later and totally different schedule. You know, there's no 6 a.m. wake ups, stuff like that. So, yeah, but we will continue to follow the JLR stuff, because I do want to, I've been accused of, you know, doing the drama or whatever with him, and I'm not. But I think a lot of us are bothered by this, and one of the things that helps when you are bothered by something is to talk about it and to get it out. And nothing that's being said in here is anything that hasn't been said by him, shown by him, public documents from court records, things like that. And we all have the right to be mad, and we all have the right to feel punked and duped, and we all have the right to want the world to know exactly who he is. Since he was so proud of it, he shouldn't have a problem with it now, right? Right. Oh, hey, Marilee, you are welcome anytime. Said the more the merrier. You guys are great. We've had great conversations, and we're gonna still keep trying to follow this Nancy Guthrie stuff. You know, I don't want to bore you guys and do, you know, entire lives on one specific thing. And I'm gonna keep, you know, truth helps me out immensely and is always finding stuff. If I'm having a busy day, she's sending me stuff saying, hey, look at this, hey, look at that. And so we will keep following JLR. We will keep putting positive energy out there that Magnolia gets some justice with all of this. That, you know, whatever side you are on it, that the truth will come out, because this is something that eventually the truth is gonna come out. And then, like I said, we'll be doing reviews of some of the Leticia Stauch stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that I had forgotten about this. I've got the video of her trying to get out of the van and trying to escape. And hey, J-Tharp, or JT Harp, how shall I pronounce it? Everybody always pronounces my name when before they hear me talk, because they think I'm cutesy, which maybe I should just go with that. Cutesy. Is that better than cutsy cutesy? Yeah, no, and I'm getting ready to go, because I've got to get up early with my oldest. They've got SAT testing tomorrow. And so he has to be up and fueled with good food and vitamins and on his way to school. He's all about walking now, so gotta make sure he gets out the door in time. And oh my gosh, so nervous day. But I'm not sure when I'll be able to come back live again, but I will try. I've got a lot of stuff on this Leticia Stauch stuff, and we will get caught up and follow that. And yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff on the docket, so on my docket. So, oh, thank you, Emily. Yeah, no, we don't have any drama in here. Like, so occasionally we get like somebody wanders in here off the street. We leave the back door open. Somebody wanders in and says something, you know, cranky or whatever, but we just kind of play around with them. Actually, we kind of play, you know. usually nobody says anything too bad in here. So all right. Good night, you guys. Sweet dreams, and I will talk to you later. So everyone have a wonderful day, and thanks for being here. And if you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up for me, please. And if you're not yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I go live, and you can come back and hang out with us more. So you too, my dear, you too. Good night. Oh, thanks, Doug. You're so sweet. Make me blush. Peace, love, and claws, y'all. Good night.